What's going on, you guys? It's the Demigod back on Demigod ENT. And look, bro, today I got another video for y'all. So, today we will finally be doing the official movie review for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now, spoiler alert, because this will be a spoiler review. I didn't really feel the need to do a non-spoiler review, considering everyone could already see this movie at home if you own HBO Max or are subscribed to HBO Max. So, if you haven't already, make sure you go check out the film. It was a great film, I'll just say that. 4 hours long, kind of a hassle to get through. But I'm not gonna lie, the time kind of flew by as as you're watching and as you just keep going, because there's so many great moments inside this film. Now, I have all of my notes written down on my phone. I was taking notes while watching through this movie all 4 hours. I watched 2 hours when it released at night. I went to sleep, woke up, watched the other 2 hours. So I got it all fresh in my memory. I also got the notes here. So if you don't mind, I'll be going through those and we'll go through those together. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. And yeah, man, I'll let you know my thoughts, my opinions on each scene. We'll do a play-by-play. And yeah, that's how we're going to do this review. So if you don't already know, this is my second review on this channel, Demigod ENT. We're going to get better with the reviews as we go along here, just as I have with my trailer reactions and reaction videos in general, and with my unboxings. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, man. Give this video a thumbs up. I appreciate y'all for picking my review to watch, because there's plenty of reviews for you to watch. So just know I'm going to be giving the Demigod review on this, man. So yeah, I'm happy to talk about this. I'm excited. I had a blast watching this movie. I really did. I was amazed. I was surprised. And I can tell you it's a lot different than the original Justice League film that I believe dropped in 2017. The Joss Whedon version of the Justice League. You know, he stepped in to finish what Zack Snyder started. And I'm not going to lie, that original was kind of a mess. I went to see it. I was highly disappointed when I went to see it in theaters. It was extremely mediocre to me, and definitely not what we should have got out of the very first time seeing Justice League on the big screen. I thought that was kind of ridiculous. This is the Justice League we're talking about, so this needs to be at least Avengers level, right? I mean, DC has damn near the best characters. A majority of these people wouldn't even be fans of Marvel if it wasn't for the fantastic films they put out, of course. But everyone's a Batman fan, you know, not everyone, but a lot of people are Superman fans, Wonder Woman fans. And so, yeah. So anyway, we're going to get into this review, man. We're going to talk about it. So we're going to start talking with the aspect ratio of this film. Now, I thought it was just for the trailers that they were doing this aspect ratio. Now I see that it wasn't, you know. The screen was definitely cut down more centered. However, the more the movie went on, honestly, like within 15-20 minutes, I completely stopped noticing it. It didn't bother me at all, and everything was good. Everything was fine. And so yeah, so as far as the aspect ratio of this film, wasn't a big problem at all for me personally. It might be for you, who knows. We are going to start with the opening scene of this movie before we get to part one. So the opening scene of this movie, of course, the Superman scream that he lets out. We get to see, I fucking love how this was continuing after Batman v Superman, which of course not everyone was a fan of. Me personally, I didn't think Batman v Superman was too bad of a film. If I had to grade it, I might have gave it like a C+, or a B- might be too high. So yeah, C+ is like a great kind of level as to where that was. As far as the extended cut, I did hear that was better. However, I didn't get the chance to check it out. Who knows? I might go check it out. I believe it's on HBO Max also, so I might go ahead and check that out, then watch Zack Snyder's Justice League again, because that's how good it is. I definitely need to see this film for a second time. However, not to keep getting off topic here, which I sometimes tend to do as I go through, you know, different thoughts and ideas in my head. Opening scene, Superman's cry lets out, of course, after the battle with Doomsday, of course, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the original trilogy, the original trilogy of the Justice League. They're battling Doomsday, which I feel like definitely was wasted inside Batman v Superman. He brought that storyline along way too quick here. But anyway, the scream lets out. They did it in a fantastic way. I mean, as soon as the movie starts, you could already tell it's completely different from the original Justice League. And of course, the scream that lets out from Superman, everyone hears this scream. The Amazonians hear it, the Atlanteans hear it. I mean, everyone who's on this planet Earth felt Superman's presence, Superman's scream, felt, the good, the hope in this world dying off, you could say. And so, with that being said, his scream eventually starts hitting the mother boxes, right? The mother boxes fill that scream. So it was kind of like how they said it in the film. They said it basically like the mother boxes were kind of scared of Superman, of his power and of his presence. So while they're on this world, they kind of remained even more quiet while they were being called out to by Darkseid, Steppenwolf, etc. And so, part 1, don't count on it, Batman. One box in particular is awakened by this scream. I think it is the Amazonian box, right? It was the box that was held by the Amazonians, which, by the way, they are holding inside kind of like this temple. And it kind of appeared that they had all these different, they had all these Amazonian warriors there. I'm not sure really what that was. They kind of just sit there and watch the box for centuries and centuries, I guess, for over millennia, because the original battle that happened was quite a long time ago, right? The original Age of the Heroes. And so while they're waiting there, the box gets activated. They're all on alert, they're all on alarm, they're kind of surprised by the whole thing. Very cool scene here when we see Steppenwolf. Boom, he appears. Steppenwolf appears. He comes to this box, and of course, the fight scene breaks out between the Amazonians and Steppenwolf. Now, it starts with one of the lead Amazonians running out with the box. They're trying to get the box as far away from this madman as possible, and so we get a brilliant scene, which, by the way, we got a small touch of in the original Justice League. We did get a variation of this scene in that movie. However, this one in this movie was much more detailed, much less cut out of it. And yeah, it was a great scene seeing them battle with Steppenwolf on the horseback, trying to get away from him. Man, and also, the one thing I noticed about this movie is it's rated R. For sure, it's rated R, because we're seeing characters die, we're seeing them get killed, we're seeing blood left behind, blood stains, parademons. When they die, we're seeing, blood, which is amazing. Exactly what we needed for, kind of this dark kind of take on the Justice League, dark take on these DC characters. I feel like DC is also perfect for a whole dark version, considering these characters kind of have a dark and more realistic nature to them, especially characters like Batman. I know it doesn't fit with Superman, which bothers a lot of people. I'm not the biggest Superman fan, but I am a huge Batman fan, so that fits right in with the Batman universe and other DC heroes for sure, all Batman's rogues gallery. But anyway, back to what we were saying here. Steppenwolf, by the way, his new outfit that Snyder gave him, his new look, his new CGI, it looks so much better. I mean, he looked horrible in the original Justice League. It was 10 times better, his new suit. I believe it has like a purple hue to it, like kind of this metallic look. Looks fantastic, it really does. And so after this whole fight scene, of course, Steppenwolf eventually gets his hands on the box. He brings it back to his base, and that is kind of where our film starts. Meanwhile, while all of this is taking place, Bruce is trying to put together his super team, like he originally was doing in the original version of this movie. So while Bruce is putting together his super team, he goes out, he climbs the mountain, right? The mountain that can't be climbed, they say, which is kind of epic. That Bruce is able to do it, which obviously he's Batman. And so he goes to find the Aquaman. There's a little conflict in this scene, but eventually Aquaman does reveal himself to Bruce. Bruce asks for his help. There's a bit of tension there. He doesn't really want to help him, but Bruce has it in his heart. He's found faith. Now that Superman has left him, and he could see that the hope and the faith that he brought to the world, he kind of found that within himself after he was gone. And so he's found faith inside of himself, believe that the Aquaman will join him on his journey. So Aquaman, he leaves the sea, goes away, and so we also get to see that Lois Lane seems to be constantly going back to, I believe it was the court, right? The court in Batman v Superman that blew up and all those lives were lost while Superman just stood there, couldn't do anything about it, just had to watch. She goes to this memorial often to remember Clark and to remember his passing and all those victims, of course, that passed. And so we go over to Wonder Woman. It's setting up all the characters in this part one. We go over to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is solving a bank heist. So we get more of this scene. We got some of it in the original, but of course, Zack Snyder brought the full glory for these scenes, what they were truly supposed to be, his true vision for this. And so in this whole, in this whole scene, we get to see these people are brutal, man. They're planning on blowing up 4 blocks. Wonder Woman thankfully is there to save the day. When it introduces her, she's on top of the statue. A beautiful soundtrack orchestra comes in, plays, setting up the vibe, the scenery perfectly. She of course solves this whole bank heist. An amazing fight scene, getting to see Wonder Woman in full action here. And so she's so damn fast. She's blocking every bullet. She's saving lives like a true hero is supposed to. And then of course this dude, and then of course it ends with the bank heist leader dying, passing away. And that is what we have there for part 1. We then lead into part 2. So part 2, the Age of Heroes. Now part 2 begins with Steppenwolf. He's sending out his minions, his little parademons, right? He's sending out the parademons to go search for these mother boxes. They have this ability to kind of, basically the mother boxes carry a scent to them, and they have this ability to pick up the scent. Also he does pick up the scent from these mother boxes, know who's been around one, know who's touched one, pull information out of them, and find the mother boxes for themselves. So we then get a nice scene of Bruce and Alfred here. Now, we then get a nice scene of Bruce and Alfred here. We get to see kind of their connection, their relationship with each other. It's kind of father and son, but it's also a friend type relationship that they have. And after this little nice scene, we go over to Cyrus and Cyborg. Now, we go to Cyborg's father. He works at Star Labs, by the way, which what I thought was interesting about this film was basically everyone's story takes place inside of Gotham or inside of Metropolis, of course, Superman's location. Originally in the comics, they have their own cities and stuff, but within this film, within Zack Snyder's Justice League universe, everything is within Gotham Metropolis. They're kind of neighboring cities, which I don't believe it's that way in the original comics. And so that's definitely an interesting take, something unique to the Snyderverse and the Snyder Cut especially. And so Cyrus, Cyborg's father, is working at Star Labs. Of course, The Flash, if you've watched the Flash TV show, Star Labs plays a huge role in it. He works at Star Labs, The Flash does, Barry Allen, of course. And so we get a nice scene of the parademons kind of infiltrating Star Labs. I'm not sure if they take the mother box here. I don't believe they do, but they know that the scent is there. They could sense it. And so an artist actually draws kind of a sketch of what this parademon looks like, and it looks just like Batman. So then they start to think, maybe Batman has some sort of connection here, right? And after that scene is done, we then move back to the Mystera, where the Amazonians, they shoot a fire arrow, kind of a warning symbol, to Athens, Greece, I believe it is. And so here on Athens, Greece, the arrow burns for quite a while. It gets the attention of Wonder Woman, which of course is whose attention they were trying to contact. They also mentioned that man wouldn't understand what this means. So it kind of seems to me like man has kind of de-evolved as time has gone on. We've evolved in other areas such as technological advancements and things like that. But in terms of kind of awareness of the universe and what's going on, we've de-evolved because we no longer understand this message. And also, man is supposed to be holding one of the 3 boxes. So we lead to Diana going to where this arrow was shot. It just happens to be that where that arrow was shot is right under it. So she goes underground, right? She goes into the caverns of where this arrow was shot. She starts investigating, and she comes across one of my favorite parts of the movie. One thing that I kind of wish that they explored more upon in this movie, they didn't really, but I wish they did. That would have been amazing. She finds in this ancient prophecy, it's written on the walls, hieroglyphics, the prophecy of Darkseid. Now, this was an amazing scene in the movie. It really was. Darkseid, we get to see kind of what played out in the Age of Heroes, his original coming to Earth for the anti-life equation. his original coming to Earth and, you know, trying to take over this planet. And of course, Diana reads this prophecy, finds out, hey, this is something pretty serious here, and of course wants to do something about it. So we move to a stylish Aquaman. He saves a sailor, right? And after he saves this sailor, he meets with William Dafoe's character, which I'm not sure if William Dafoe's character had that long hair in the original Justice League, if he was in the original Justice League, or in the Aquaman film, 2017 Aquaman. It might have been 2018. I believe it was 2017 though, which, by the way, no, it was 2018, which, by the way, I thought was a great film. I really enjoyed that Aquaman film from beginning to end. It was definitely a journey. They definitely explored everything that they needed to in that film. Definitely looking out for the sequel for that. But we get a nice kind of altercation, more like a debate conversation between William Dafoe's character and the Aquaman. What happens here is that he's trying to get Aquaman to accept his legacy, you know, accept his place in Atlantis, his place in his bloodline, and to finally take the trident, which he kind of refuses to do. He's having kind of a fight back and forth here. And I believe Defoe's character just kind of leaves it on the steps there for him to take. It was his mother's trident. And so we then move on to the next scene here, where Steppenwolf meets with Darkseid's subordinate. I'm not quite sure who this was. I believe he's like the second hand to Darkseid. If he's not the second hand, he's definitely someone extremely close to Darkseid. He works, you know, right with him. And it seems that to them, Steppenwolf isn't this world eater like we see here, like we see he is on Earth. He's kind of just a clown to them, right? He's kind of just a failure to them. They're sending him on this mission to Earth to find the mother boxes and to help Darkseid complete his vision and his mission. However, they don't have very high hopes for him, and they don't really believe on him. They kind of shun him out and talk down on him, which is kind of funny to see someone that high up get shit on like this. And so we move to Bruce Wayne and Diana linking up, having a nice conversation. I think it might have been in the Batcave actually that this takes place. I wish we got to see more of the Batcave, by the way. We got some nice views of it. You know, we got to see a few nice things of it, but I wish it was expanded upon just a little more, just because Batman is my personal favorite character. But enough of my bias. When this conversation happens between Batman and Diana, we get one of my favorite scenes in the movie, another, I'd say, top 5 scenes in the movie right here, when of course Diana is explaining to Bruce the Age of the Heroes, the original Age of the Heroes, which of course is on its way to come again. The original Age of the Heroes that happens, where she tells the tale of what happened the original time Darkseid invaded Earth and how Earth's defenders kind of stopped and thwarted that attack. Now, this led to one of the best scenes in the movie. Absolutely. We got to see this nice big battle scene. This is our first time seeing Darkseid in his full glory inside the movie. He kind of dives down on Earth, and there to greet him are the Atlanteans. Mankind was there, the Amazonians, and then the gods. So Zeus and Ares. Ares is the god of war, of course. We got to see them there. And it was an amazing fight scene. It really was. I wasn't quite aware that it was Ares until after I watched the film. I kind of thought back like, that was Ares, you know? And so we get an amazing scene here. We also see the lanterns here. The lanterns are helping defend Earth also. So we kind of get these five or six different species kind of working together to defend this planet that they all inhabit. And so we get a beautiful fight scene here. Glorious, absolutely fantastic, it really is. And so absolutely fantastic, it really is. And what happens here is eventually by the end of this scene, Ares deals the death blow. He didn't really die, but he deals the final blow to Darkseid that kind of thwarts the attack and stops him. He shoves his axe right into his shoulder blade. Bow, kind of like Thanos with. Kind of like in Infinity War when Thor, blasts Thanos with the axe. Very similar to that, actually. Especially considering the two types of characters they are, Thanos and Darkseid, that is. Also, with inside of this, we get to see Zeus using his powers there. He looked fucking ripped, didn't he? I mean, he looked huge. I couldn't believe how big that guy was. He's definitely on some damn performance enhancers. There's no way he just normally looks like that. the actor that is, for Ares and for Zeus. Zeus in here, they kind of tried to make him look like a younger version of what we got in Wonder Woman, which, by the way, I thought looked horrible inside Wonder Woman. The worst part of that film, 100%. However, outside of that, it was a great film. It was. And so after this whole battle sequence, the mother boxes are left there in the aftermath of the battle because they didn't have time to grab them considering the current circumstances. And so the three mother boxes are split into the three different inhabitants of the earth, that being Atlanteans, Amazonians, and of course mankind. They split the boxes up, all three of them, to be guarded for forever, really. And after this happens, Bruce then informs Diana that he is putting together this kind of super team to stop this attack from happening again, because he's kind of having this foresight, these prophecies, these visions that it will happen again. And so he then shows Diana the different film footage of the different heroes that they will be going after, and that starts our search. But we then go into part 3. So we are now halfway in part 3. Part 3 was Countless Mother, Countless Son. So the opening of part 3 begins with Barry Allen. Barry Allen kind of runs into Iris West as he's going in for a new job interview as a dog walker, it was. And Iris West kind of catches his eye there. They kind of have this moment between the two, which I found interesting. It kind of happens right away here. Kind of like love at first sight, you could say. Which is very unlike the CW show that we got, where he kind of had to really work for Iris's love and affection and to notice him. Also within that one, it's kind of weird how Barry Allen and Iris West are they're friends, but considering that Joe West, Iris's father, adopted Barry, they're kind of like stepbrother and stepsister. So it's kind of weird in that show that they have this kind of relationship dynamic between them. But anyway, back to the movie. Iris West gets in her car, takes off, right? And we get a nice scene that we got to see a little bit of in the trailer. So it was very nice to see the full thing play out here in the film. Another glorious scene inside of this film. Zack Snyder is amazing, fantastic with these damn visuals. And so Iris West is in her car. She starts going. This truck driver, he drops his food on the floor of his car, on the mat of his car, goes to reach for it, of course, loses control. Iris West runs into him, and there we have it. This crazy accident that happens where she was 100% going to lose her life in this accident. I mean, it was pretty brutal, pretty horrible. And as Barry Allen, views this from the shop and sees what's going on, he then, boom, goes into the Speed Force. We get to see, his very first scene of him using his abilities, him going into the Speed Force. And what's interesting is he pops out of his shoes. He's going so fast, vibrating so fast inside of the Speed Force that his shoes just kind of disintegrate, right? I'm kind of curious as to why the rest of his clothes, big pause, but as to why the rest of his clothes don't do that like his shoes do. But anyway, his shoes come off. He goes out there, saves Iris West. We kind of had this weird thing where he puts a hot dog in his pocket. That was kind of a lame, corny joke, I thought, in my personal opinion. But anyway, he saves Iris, and as soon as he saves Iris from this accident, they kind of have this moment where they look in each other's eyes, and you could tell, like I said originally, love at first sight, 100%. Iris falls for him right then and there, and then he, boom, vanishes, leaves back into the shop, and Iris is kind of the first person to discover that Barry Allen has these powers, right? Which also, I don't believe, we'll see as I go through my notes here, but I don't believe that Iris West was in this film any more than that, which is kind of funny, kind of ridiculous. But who knows? Maybe if this whole restore the Snyderverse thing happens and goes through and follows through to fruition, which, by the way, I just seen on Twitter that Zack Snyder would like to do a sequel to this and would like to continue with this universe, which I'm sure he'll get a lot of support from. He has my support 100% to continue with his vision here. I'd like to see what he does here, but who knows? Maybe in the future, maybe for the Flash movie that's going to come out, we get to see more of Iris West and the Flash happening. So we then go to Steppenwolf hunting down the second mother box, which of course is in Atlantis. Now, Steppenwolf is having kind of this attack on Atlantis. He's slaughtering, I mean, straight slaughtering Atlanteans. We're seeing blood come out. He's slamming their heads into rocks. It's crazy. It's a brutal scene. Shout out to the Atlanteans for not putting up with that shit and for fighting back on this whole thing. We then, from this scene here, after he gets his head slammed into a rock and says, you know, he's not telling Steppenwolf nothing, nothing at all. This kind of bug creature comes out that they brought from their planet, wherever Steppenwolf is coming from here, and it extracts the memories out of his head, which is absolutely nuts. And so either way, even though that Atlantean was tough and put up a good fight, they got the location of the mother box anyway via his memories. So from this scene, we continue with Batman and Diana going over the clips for the future Justice League members, and as we go through these clips, we then move on to Cyborg, our very first Cyborg introduction, of course played by Ray Fisher within this film, which, by the way, there was some controversy. I don't know if y'all heard about it or seen it. If you're deep in the community, you definitely did. But there was some controversy there with Ray Fisher and, you know, everything that was going on with the film. But we're not here to talk about the controversy. I'm just here to say that I wasn't expecting much out of his character within this film. However, he was one of the best characters inside this film. He gave an amazing performance. He really did. And a very heartwarming and touching performance. Definitely brought some emotion out of me while I was watching this movie. We get to see the original tell of Cyborg, which I don't believe we got in Justice League. Definitely not in its full glory, of course. Zack Snyder did his damn thing on this. So Cyborg was a football star. He was a top student and a very good, kind-hearted person. So that kind of allows you to really feel for this character here, because you could see how much of a heart his character has and how good of a person he really is. And so he's having a good life. He's an A+ student. He's top in his class, football star. You know, everyone loves the big football star. And what really hurts him is in this game that they're playing of football, he scores the final touchdown, kind of wins the game for him. He looks up, sees his mother there, and sees his father is missing. And that really hurts him, you know, really cuts deep. He really wanted his father to be at the game here. So on the car ride home, you know, it kind of breaks his heart, honestly, him talking to his mom and his mom trying to explain to him that, hey, your father does love you, even though, you know, he can't really be here for you as much as he'd like to. And kind of continuing with the trope of black fathers missing and male figures' lives, right? Which personally I didn't experience in my life. I grew up with my father, and so during this whole sad scene that is going on here, we get, you know, more sadness, more misfortune leading into Cyborg's life, which really sucks because you could tell he had his life planned out and lined up for him for greatness within the human world, within a basic view of everything. And this horrible car accident happens. Our second car accident in the film, kind of funny, following a little theme here of car accidents, right? And tragedy with these characters. But the car accident takes place. His mother dies. His mother doesn't survive the car accident. Absolutely horrible. I mean, honestly, that made me real sad while watching this film. I already felt a connection to these characters that I was seeing play out on screen, because we were getting so much film time and really seeing who these characters really were, right? And so they tell Cyrus, Cyborg's father, that the mother has died. She didn't live in the car accident, and that his son probably won't end up surviving this accident. And it goes to show Cyborg after the accident. This was original to this film, exclusive to this version of the Justice League, I'm pretty sure. And man, it was hard to see and hard to watch. It was. And so we got to see this scene of Cyborg after the accident. He has like his torso and one arm and the head left, and he's just kind of there surviving, I guess you could say, because he was not living, he's surviving. And he wasn't even meant to survive past this. Like, basically the state he was in was eventually going to be fatal. And so, man, seeing that happen, seeing his life go from great, you know, with a few problems that he had, to just absolutely horrible, seeing that shift and that dynamic, and seeing how brutal it really looked when Cyborg was laid out on that operating table, man, that really, it made me so sad, honestly. It damn near brought me to tears seeing that inside this film. And so it damn near brought me to tears with inside this film. And then we move to Cyrus not wanting to give up on his son's life, which of course it's extremely hard to lose your wife and your son all at once on one day, which I believe happened to Kobe's wife. You know, she lost her husband and one of her daughters, so RIP to their family. Just kind of shows you like the real life comparison there between the two. And so Cyrus goes ahead and harnesses the power of the mother box. He uses the mother box to give Cyborg new life. Now, he doesn't even know the full power of this thing. However, he knows it's powerful enough to do something with it. And we see a kind of a crazy scene here where Cyborg begins to get this new body. It's causing him extreme pain as this is happening to him. It's kind of like an electric shock that's happening, and kind of electronics start to get built out to fill the rest of his limbs, where his limbs were in place, covers up half his face, and now he has this cybernetic cyborg robotic type body, RoboCop type. Honestly, the nigga look like RoboCop, right? But anyway, even after this accident, Cyborg really holds something against his father, even though he saved his life, because he doesn't like the state that he's in, which of course it'll be hard for anyone to adapt to and get used to, this kind of fully robotic body and kind of being this outcast now after you go from star player on the team and everyone loves you to now you're kind of this outcast. No one can see you for what you really look like without, you know, feeling some kind of fear, right? And so he's kind of dismissive of his father, really doesn't like him. His father then leaves him like this radio thing and tells him how to use his new body, which this was an A+ student. He is extremely smart, and he already had natural hacking abilities, which they tell you earlier in the film when he went to save the student's grades, failing student's grades who was having some problems, which of course shows more of the character's heart, right? Kind of gives you that more of a connection to his character. And Victor then goes to use his new body, experiment with his new body, his new cybernetics, learn the powers, learn what it could do, and he conquers it very fast. He really does. And so he learns how to use it. He then begins, you know, he's able to see everything. He's able to speak to technology, how Aquaman could interact and speak to fish, basically. You know, it's not really a language that they talk in, but it's something that they can just understand. So as he's going through here, right, he's looking at different footages. He's looking at mothers on footage, kind of struggling mothers. He's viewing over, he's watching these struggling mothers, and he sees one in particular who got evicted from her house and, you know, was falling upon real hard times here in Gotham City, because Gotham is a horrible place, which, by the way, another interesting thing that I found here, I'm sure Cyborg within his own story in the comics has his own universe, but he lived inside Gotham City and he played for the Gotham University team, the football team, which I thought was cool there. Which also we got to see inside of The Dark Knight Rises. If you remember when we get the football scene with Bane and he blows up the field, you know, Gotham has their own team there. So kind of a little callback to that, right? Victor then, as he sees this family kind of go to the ATM, right, he gifts them money. I believe it was like a little over $100,000 he gifts them so that the mother can fix her life, get her child a home, you know, some food, some clothes on their back. Again, showing the heart of the character, showing how good they are, how good he is, kind of really giving you a good heartfelt moment, him just wanting to do good in this world no matter how bad the circumstances in his own life get. And after this scene, we then go back to Barry Allen, who happens to kind of run a lot of part 3 here. So Barry Allen goes to meet with his father, which of course, if you watched the CW show, as I mentioned earlier, you would know that Barry Allen has a father in prison who was imprisoned for the Reverse Flash, killing his mother. So he was in prison for his own mother's death, which of course he didn't commit. Barry's the only one who knows that he didn't commit this, so he still goes to visit his father, and his father tells him to move on with his life, to stop kind of revolving his whole life around trying to get his father out of prison, which is a good thing for a father to tell a son. You know, he doesn't want him to waste his life trying to save him. And so we then go to Barry Allen going to his hideout. It happens to be like on these train tracks type of thing, right? And as Barry Allen goes here, back to his hideout. Bruce Wayne is already there. We got a scene of this in the Justice League, the original Justice League. However, this is expanded upon. It gave us a little more here. And which, by the way, I only seen the original Justice League once. That's how disappointed I was by that film. And so I can only remember, what I can remember about this and compare between the two. So Bruce Wayne is already in there. He reveals that he knows he is the Flash. Of course, he throws the Batarang, lets him know he is the Batman, and asks him to join the team. Barry Allen, with no hesitation, joins the team because he has no friends. He's a bit of a loner, and he finally feels like he could be a part of something greater than himself. And there we have it. We have 3 members of the Justice League, and then we move on to go get the other members. So Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen, they leave off. We get the joke that we got in the original. Oh, what's your superpower? Oh, I'm rich. That isn't really his superpower, right? His superpower is he knows every martial art and the greatest detective on earth and all these other things. However, a little joke, I get it. And so after this scene, Diana goes to meet Cyborg. She tries to convince him to join the team. So we get Bruce getting Flash, Diana going to get Cyborg and convince Cyborg because she probably would have a better chance of doing it than the Batman would, right? And so as she's trying to convince him, she can see that he's still doing good because she's been keeping an eye on him. He's already researched her, knows everything about her, and they kind of had this heart-to-heart moment, and he leaves. He flies off to decide his further actions and if he'd like to join or not. We then go to a scene of Cyborg, which was kind of shocking to me. I was like, whoa, what the hell? When I seen him, he was digging up his mother's grave. I had no idea what was going on here. He then hides the mother box at his mother's grave. An interesting hiding spot, to say the least. But I guess. Speeding up here, we get to see Gordon for the very first time. Get some new scenes of Gordon, which was always a treat. I love Jim Gordon's character. They kind of talk about the break-in at Star Labs and how it looks like the Batman, and he agrees to meet with the Batman and ask him personally whether or not it was him that infiltrated this lab. And so he goes to shine the bat light, right? He goes to shine and call for the Batman. And then we move on to the next scene here where Bruce Wayne brings Flash to meet Diana. They get a nice little interaction there. And after this whole scene, we get a scene of Mira. We get to see Amber Heard's character, Mira, which, by the way, we don't support Amber Heard over here. I'm kind of disappointed that they even brought her back for reshoots. But I guess, you kind of have to... The character's already in the film, right? So you had to get some more scenes of her to get this full movie out. However, I don't want to see her get any more work within the DC universe and really within Hollywood after everything she's done. But anyway, moving on from controversy again, we get a scene of Steppenwolf attacking Atlantis. He's come for the mother box. He's found its location after the extraction from earlier, right? And so Steppenwolf, very brutal scenes that we're getting here. He's just killing characters, and he begins to attack Mira. Mira kind of uses this power, like this mind power on him. I'm not quite sure what it was. Maybe she was like suffocating him with inside the water. He starts gushing blood, and then we get Steppenwolf versus Aquaman, which was a nice little scene. He's kind of just overpowering Aquaman. Aquaman couldn't really do anything to him, which is kind of crazy considering I've always thought of Aquaman as like, he's basically like Superman, but for under the sea, right? For water. So he has like as much strength, as much power, obviously not the same type of power, but that's kind of how I've always seen his character. So kind of interesting to see Steppenwolf just completely dominate him. He then takes the mother box, leaves off, and then we move on to part 4. So this is when things really start to get interesting here. I'll have chapters added to this video, hopefully, so you can kind of click through and see the parts that you'd like to see of this review and me go over. But anyway, we move to part 4, which is Change Machine. So I'm going to try to speed it up here because this is quite long, but we get the meeting between Bruce and Gordon on the roof with the famous bat symbol, the famous bat light, of course, and we get a nice dynamic between the two characters. It's always a pleasure to see Batman and Gordon have their little back and forth play. And as Batman is on this roof, he brings the rest of the Justice League, that being Cyborg, Flash, Wonder Woman, to come meet Jim Gordon, let him know, hey, I have teammates, I'm not doing this alone anymore. And so we move on to the Justice League. I'm not sure if they're at Star Labs, but they're going to Steppenwolf. they're going to find Steppenwolf. They're spying on Steppenwolf, right, kind of watching him, and we see, it actually is inside Star Labs, we see Steppenwolf kind of attacking Cyrus' character, which of course, that's Cyborg's father. Even though he's mad at him, it's still your father, so he's still going to defend him. With inside this scene, he goes to attack him, and then we get a nice scene between Steppenwolf and Diana, a nice little fight scene there. You know, she's very good. She's able to hold her own a bit there. We get the Justice League fight scene between the Parademons and Steppenwolf. And what I found interesting in this scene was Batman is having trouble with one Parademon. Now, Darkseid has hundreds of thousands, if not millions, and Steppenwolf also, of Parademons fighting for him, doing their dirty work. You know, they're minions, basically. Like a damn near unlimited supply of minions that they have here. Batman is having trouble cleaning up one Parademon. That was absolutely ridiculous to me. Kind of disrespectful to Batman's character. Batman would get a Parademon up out of there quick, if you ask me. And so anyway, Diana used her wrist gauntlets. Boom! Blast Steppenwolf back. We get the Flash. He gets shot by a Parademon actually in the leg. Kind of burns him. Handicaps him, if you will. Because of course his powers is running. And so he needs to be carried out of there by the rest of the Justice League, and Cyborg then hacks into the Nightcrawler. Batman, we get to see his Nightcrawler, which we got some of in the original Justice League. Like I said, though, much better in this movie. All these scenes make a lot more sense. The characters are much more fleshed out, and yeah, great movie so far. And it was at this moment I realized I was only halfway through this film, and I thought, oh my god, we got so much more to go here. And so, at this point, the Mother Box then shows Steppenwolf Earth's future. Now, this is where we see that desolate, kind of flattened out Earth, after it's been basically destroyed, leveled out by some type of crisis, some sort of apocalypse. This is what we were seeing in the trailers for this film. Now, this is what was very interesting to me. This is what I was very curious about going into this movie. I hoped we got to see more of this. Now, if you know, this is the spoiler review, so I can go ahead and say what's coming later. This was an alternate future that we were taking a look at here. They kind of thwarted this future, this alternate reality from happening. However, in a different timeline, this reality did happen. Now, in this kind of vision here, we then move to Steppenwolf talking with Darkseid's subordinate again, his right hand man to say. And so they begin to speak on the anti-life equation and different multiverses and universes, which I believe, honestly, with the success of this film happening, I guarantee you this film was successful on HBO Max and for HBO Max, considering how many people were hyped for it and how much good report got after it dropped and everyone got to see it. I mean, a majority of us love this film, right? So, saying that, I do believe that they will continue with the Snyderverse eventually, and that we'll have, main DC and Snyderverse DC, kind of different realities going at once. Two different Jokers. We could have two different Batmans. We're getting a new Batman. And yeah, we can kind of continue down this path of having a multiverse and multiple universes going at once, which will be amazing. It might be confusing for the casual, but for real fans and actual viewers of the movie, we'll completely understand that and completely be acceptable of that. We can compare the two versions against each other and have a lot of fun with that. So I hope it does happen. I hope that we do continue here with the Snyderverse. But anyway, back to the story and the plot. Darkseid then appears to Steppenwolf, has kind of a conversation with him. He bows before the almighty Darkseid, and Steppenwolf then vows to complete Darkseid's mission, prays and asks and hopes to get back on Darkseid's good graces, back in his good graces, back on his side, so that he can become a part of their family again, what they're building over there, wherever they are in the universe. We then go back to the Justice League. They meet here with the Mother Box, and they're kind of going over the Mother Box's abilities, trying to discover what it does, and eventually they come across and reveal to us, the audience, what the Mother Box really does, which of course explains why this part of the movie is called what it's called. So part 4, Change Machine, we finally figured out the meaning of Change Machine. The mother box, basically its ability is that it's able to shift matter into different forms, revert, or go forward. So for example, the example that they give inside the movie, a house burns, turns to smoke, right? So that matter is still there. It's not created nor destroyed. It's just transfers forms, just as energy does. And so you could change that smoke back into a house with the mother box. So that's the example they give. Very good example, if you ask me. Makes perfect sense to me. And so we then move on to the plan to bring Superman back. So, being that it's a change machine, that the mother box ability is to revert forms, they kind of figure that, hey, maybe we could bring Superman back from the dead, right? Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? And so, they start putting together this plan, and we get a nice little scene of Superman's mother, Martha, getting to meet with Lois Lane. And then we move on to part 5 of this movie. Finally, we're here, part 5. After part 5, I believe it's just part 6 and then epilogue left. So part 5, definitely shorter than the last part. This is All the King's Horses. So part 5, All the King's Horses. We then get a little dialogue reveal here because, you know, Flash, Barry Allen, is kind of infatuated with Wonder Woman, which who wouldn't be? Gal Gadot is, or Gal Gadot is very beautiful. She really is. And so we find out that Diana is actually 5,000 years old, which is kind of shocking to me. And also with that whole scene is Barry Allen. I thought you were infatuated with Iris West. Now you lusted for Wonder Woman also. But anyways, moving on. We then go to Superman's grave. They dig up his body. Again, a lot of grave digging up inside this movie. Kind of odd. But they dig up Superman's body to bring him to Superman's ship, of course, the Kryptonian ship. They place his body within the water that Lex Luthor's character was standing in at the beginning of the film. And then here comes the plan to bring Superman back. So they plan to have Flash basically electric charge it with the Speed Force as soon as it touches Superman, the mother box that is. And so plan works. Superman comes back, he shoots out of the ship, right? Mother box is activated, and when it's activated, we get a little vision here, right? It's a vision of Darkseid. So we get to see some more Darkseid. One of my favorite parts of this film is getting to see Darkseid within this film. So we see Darkseid, kind of what he plans to do in this alternate reality, basically, that never comes to fruition, but could possibly until, of course, they thwart his plans, like I already said. So we get a vision of Darkseid attacking Atlantis, the Atlanteans underwater. He's slaughtering them with his Omega beams. Brilliant, man. What a great scene. I'm so glad, especially how comic accurate his Omega beams were inside of this film. It looked amazing. It really did. Getting to see him just slaughter people with these damn Omega beams. And so we also get a little scene of Black Suit Superman. Before he actually gets his black suit, we get a vision of it. He's kind of, you know, sitting there in shock and awe. I'm guessing it's because of in this alternate reality, Lois Lane dies, which of course they did this storyline inside the Injustice video game series. If you played those, very good series. I definitely recommend it if you haven't checked that series out. But anyway, inside of this series, Superman turns bad in this one too. So basically Lois Lane dies, and that's the reason for Superman turning bad. And we see Darkseid place his hand on Superman's shoulder, and then boom, vision's over. We then move on to a huge explosion from the activation of the mother box and Clark being brought back to life. And then we get a nice little fight scene, which we got in the original also, of the Justice League versus Superman. So Cyborg kind of feels threatened, right, by Superman's presence, his cybernetics, because they feel this threat level, and they feel Superman kind of analyzing them with his eyes. He's kind of confused, you know, has amnesia, we could say. He has amnesia, and Cyborg's defense mechanisms start to go off. He shoots at Superman, and it's downhill from there. Superman begins to attack the Justice League. The Justice League is trying to stop Clark from doing what he's about to do, and Batman's just kind of sitting in the back because he can't compete with these kind of superpowered beings, and so he's kind of chilling back there. And Superman kind of recognizes him actually, and so Superman, as he slowly makes his way over to Batman, the Justice League is fighting him the entire way there, and he's just mopping the floor with them, cleaning them up. The lasso of truth doesn't even work on Superman. he just yanks it from Wonder Woman. Kind of surprising there. He's able to see Flash running around in super speed in the Speed Force. I thought that was a little ridiculous. Superman shouldn't be able to literally look with his eyes and move as fast as Flash is able to run inside the Speed Force. A little ridiculous, making Superman way too OP within this film. I understand he's an overpowered character, kind of the point of Superman, but come on, man. Able to see Flash just sprinting around and able to kind of interact with Flash and have a nice fight scene with him at this level of speeds. I mean, if Superman is that fast, then no one should ever stand a chance against him, right? But anyway, we get a little Batman v Superman. Batman tries to stop Clark from attacking him. Superman then goes to laser Batman. His gauntlet blocks it. We've seen them develop a new gauntlet a little earlier in the film, him and Alfred. So gauntlet kind of absorbs all the power. Destroyed gauntlet, used the other one, protects himself again. Boom. Batman is down and out right now. He's getting fucked up by Superman's laser beams, which of course, who wouldn't? And then Lois Lane comes to save the day. So Superman recognizes Lois. He's, he has amnesia, but that is the love of his life. So he kind of feels this connection there. He accepts Lois, and they fly off back to Superman's kind of the house he grew up in, right? Back to Kansas City, right? And so we then move on to Steppenwolf arriving for the mother box. He goes to Cyrus, who now has the box in his possession. Steppenwolf, man, this was a frightening scene, just seeing him slash through everything and making his way towards Cyrus inside this tiny little Star Labs area. Cyrus locks himself in the room. He calls Cyborg. Cyborg comes to save him. However, another very sad, heartfelt, touching scene that damn near brought the boy, the demigod, to tears. Man, it was a very sad scene. It really was, getting to see Cyrus try to, basically he supercharges the mother box so that it can be tracked no matter where it goes, because it's kind of inevitable that Steppenwolf is going to take the mother box with him. In him supercharging the mother box, he then kills himself. He disintegrates into thin air, man. Very brutal scene. And like I said, he marked the mother box so they can then track it. And then we then move on to part 6 in this film. So we're getting close to the end of this review. Very happy about that. It's been quite a long review. I've been talking for quite a while here. But anyway, part 6. Part 6, something darker. Now, Superman then goes back home. While he's at home with Lois Lane, of course, he comes back to his memories. He starts to remember things. It's his home. He grew up there. So things slowly come back with time. Time heals all wounds. Am I correct? And so we get a nice scene of Batman bringing the rest of the Justice League, minus Superman, to the Batcave, them greeting Alfred. A nice little interaction, kind of a sweet moment inside the film, getting to see Alfred interact with the rest of the Justice League. But then we get the nice kind of motivational speech from the leader of the Justice League, the greatest, Batman. He comes with he's never fought us. What does he say? He says, I don't care how many demons he's fought in how many worlds, he's never fought us, not us united. Boom. Amazing line. One of the best lines in the film for sure. And then Batman begins to speak about his Barry Allen premonition. He says, hey, Barry Allen was talking to me, woke me up out of my sleep. And then, of course, he sort of wakes up again. That scene from Batman v Superman. Very nice how it all ties together here, man. Such a joy to watch. It really is. Cyborg then fixes the Batwing for Batman. He says, hey, it wanted to fly. As I said earlier, he's able to talk to machines and understand what they want to do. So flying is in that machine's nature. And he fixes the machine for him, the Batwing. We get a nice scene of him coming out of the Batcave, the whole Justice League. It's sort of in this lake, like where it rises, it's in this lake. It looks so dope. It really does. Like I said, I want to see more of the damn Batcave within this film. However, I'm glad with what we did get in here. And so they come out of the water. Very nice scene of all of the Justice League there. They get on the Batwing. Boom, and off they go. So at this point in the film, Steppenwolf now has all 3 mother boxes. Things are going to hell. Plans are not working. They put together a plan to attack. Steppenwolf's base that he's made for himself. Cyborg plans to get pushed inside of the mother box and kind of interact with it and do what he has to do to save the day. So a good hero sacrifice. And then we move on to the next scene where Clark goes back to his ship. So he goes back to the Kryptonian ship. He's looking. We get to see all these different outfits. I think we see Zod's there. We see his original Superman outfit. We see one other. I'm not that well depth in Superman mythos, so I can't really speak on it as I would be able to with the other Justice League characters, considering Superman's probably my least favorite Justice League hero. However, I really like how Zack Snyder did him justice within this film. It made a non-Superman fan be able to relate to Superman and actually appreciate his character. Of course, he then picks the black suit, and we get a nice shot of him in the black suit, and boom, he shoots off into the sky, and we move on to the attack on Steppenwolf's base. So, Batman is, while everyone else flies and has super speed and all this other nonsense, Batman, he's riding in his damn Batmobile. The best character, man. He's mowing down shit. Boom, 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 boom. He's mowing down all these damn parademons, right? We're getting blood. We're seeing rated R. These parademons are bleeding all over the place. He's just mowing them down. It's amazing. It's amazing to see on screen. Superman then goes to Alfred after he's gained his memories back, and we get the scene from the original Justice League trailer that we never got to see. Remember, we were all speculating on this, right? So he says, let's hope you're not too late, and everyone's like, oh, Superman came back, oh, black suit Superman. You know, we got to see like the shoulder of him in the trailer, and everyone is confused about that, and we never got to see that when the film officially dropped. So everyone's like, well, what the hell, what really was that? And finally in the Snyder cut, we got to see really what that was, and it was very nice to get to see that in the film. We then get Steppenwolf versus Cyborg, Aquaman, and Diana, a nice little trilogy scene, even though they are not the trilogy. And then after that happens this nice little fight scene that's going on. Superman arrives. Steppenwolf tries to axe him with his battle axe, of course, and it just shatters, bro. It does absolutely nothing to Superman. Kind of crazy, but yeah, it shatters the axe. He fucking mops the floor up with Steppenwolf. I mean, Clark is just on top of him, just boom, 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 clean him up, man. It's kind of crazy that how OP Superman really is with inside this movie. Like, what? Steppenwolf, he's fighting Steppenwolf, one of Darkseid's subordinates, right? And he's just mopping the floor with him. No challenge at all. Steppenwolf's a complete bum to Superman. How strong is Superman really, right? I guess we'll never get to see that. But Barry then runs into the Speed Force, of course. After he runs to the Speed Force, then Cyborg gets pushed. The plan goes to fruition. He gets pushed inside the mother box. And they told him earlier that when he goes inside the mother box, you know, it's thousands of years old. So it's going to try to play on his fear, on his doubts of himself. And he has to face all those things once he goes inside of the mother box. So he goes inside. He's kind of seeing the old him. He's seeing his mother and his father. You know, they both passed away by now. It's playing on his fears. He overcomes those fears. He learns to love himself for the new form and the new person that he is. He says, hey, I'm not broken, right? I'm whole. I'm still myself. Again, man, they really upgraded and leveled up Cyborg's character, Ray Fisher's character, with inside this film. After this happens, after this happens, Darkseid appears kind of in this portal, right? They go to throw Steppenwolf, Superman, he throws Steppenwolf back to where Darkseid is residing on that side of the portal. And as he goes to fly through it, Wonder Woman jumps, boom, cuts his fucking head off, man. Wonder Woman cuts his head off. Cuts his damn head off, man. Wonder Woman cuts his head off. And at this point in the film, I'm like, oh my God, I'm amazed, man. Just straight Steppenwolf, cleans him up. You know, his body with his head and his body without a head flies over to Darkseid. Portal closes. The mother boxes are destroyed. They saved the day, man. A great movie. And then we move on to the next shot of the Justice League outside. They stand there together, and we get the beautiful, beautiful shot. Throw it up on the screen here, man, if I got it. But anyway, they got the beautiful shot of the Justice League all standing together there. That beautiful Justice League shot where they're all standing on the ledge waiting for the Batwing to pick them up. And we get to see Superman in his black suit. So much better than they did in the Justice League, the original Justice League, where Superman's in his regular suit and we get that whole shot. It really wasn't as touching. It wasn't as meaningful. And plus, that was only a 2-hour film. How can you do the Justice League justice in a damn 2-hour film, man? Anyway, they get in the Batwing. As far as we're saying, the film is pretty much over. We then move on to the epilogue, which of course is what holds big meaning for what can come in the future of the DC films. Now, let's talk about this epilogue, man. Let's discuss it. So, epilogue. We then get a nice wrap up at the end of this film here of all the characters. Cyborg, he uses the powers. He kind of has like the mother box power at this point, right? Because he went inside the mother box and kind of intertwined with them. And so he's able to use the change machine's feature. He reverts the device back into what it originally was, the sound device where Cyborg was listening to his father's message on. He never finished the message originally. He goes to finish it, and you get to hear Cyrus talk to Cyborg from a father's standpoint. We also get a shot of Bruce Wayne. He returns to the Wayne Manor. We also get a shot of Bruce Wayne. He returns to the Wayne Manor. I'm not sure if he had the Justice League with him. I think he might have. He might have had like Diana with him and one other member of the Justice League. Not quite sure on that part. But anyway, they return to the Justice League base. Not base, but Wayne Manor. And they plan to turn it into the Justice League base. And they say, damn, this might have been built 150 years ago. I wonder how long he's been outside of that house, outside of his manor. Did he just never go back there? Was he not raised there? After the death of his mother and father, did him and Alfred just go somewhere else with all that money? But anyway, that is going to be the new Justice League base. Very nice touch to leave us off on there. And then we move on to the next scenes of this epilogue where Flash gets his job. I'm not sure if it was at Star Labs. It might have been a little Easter egg in there where he works at Star Labs now. But anyway, he gets his job. He brings it to his father. His father's like, oh, this is a real job. And then, of course, another nice heart-touching, heartwarming moment between father and son on other sides of the prison glass. And so Bruce does something very nice for Superman and Lois Lane and Martha. He buys Martha's house back from the bank because, of course, it was foreclosed because she fell behind on her payments. He says, well, how did you get the house back? Bruce says, I bought the bank. Bruce went on his boss shit, bro. And yeah, we go to Arkham Asylum to see Lex Luthor. I believe we might have got this at the end of the original Justice League, just a snippet of it. Again, I haven't seen that film since it came out. It was a mess. I didn't want to see it anymore. But anyway, we see Lex Luthor escaped. He left someone in his place. And we then get to see a scene of them kind of on this yacht, right? Lex Luthor's kind of living it up. He plans on doing some big things in his coming future. He says he has a lot to do. And we get to see Deathstroke, which I thought was really dope that they brought Deathstroke into this. We got to see a little more Deathstroke fleshed out. He tells Deathstroke Batman's real name, which is Bruce Wayne. Dickhead thing to do, it really was. But anyway, I'm guessing that could lead to kind of a Batman versus Deathstroke film. That would be very interesting. I'd love to see that, kind of like how we got that in the Arkham series, the video games. If you played those, of course, another great game series. I recommend that. Go play that. Go check the Arkham series out if you haven't played those. But anyway, we finally get the scene, one of the most exciting scenes, top 5 scenes in the movie of the apocalypse, the alternate timeline where Superman goes rogue. Kind of the Injustice timeline, honestly. And so we get to see basically Bruce Wayne is asleep and he's kind of having this vision, this premonition, another premonition of what could have happened and what could still possibly happen. So remember, Lois Lane is the key. That is what Flash told Bruce when he came back for the premonition. And so in this whole alternate scene, which I wish we got to see more of, this is really what I wanted to see this movie for. I thought we were going to get a lot more of this, but we just got a little nice touch at the end there, which, okay, that's still acceptable. We see an alternate timeline future where the villains and the heroes kind of are being forced to work together. So we have Batman, we have Flash. Flash looks older, by the way. Is that a different actor there? It might have been. Wonder Woman is there. Joker is there. Very exciting. I'll talk about that in a second. We got to see Joker. Deathstroke is working with them. And Mira is working with them. So Mira reveals that Aquaman died, actually. So she says, he's going to pay for that. I'm guessing Superman killed off Aquaman, which is kind of crazy. And we see the Justice League, of course, working with Deathstroke and Joker. And now we get to see a little bit more of Jared Leto's Joker now. I'm glad that they gave him a chance to kind of redeem himself and give us a little more of what his take would have been on the character, considering how bad of a taste his character left inside the mouths of DC fans from his Suicide Squad version. Now, I actually didn't hate Joker's Suicide Squad version. I felt like we didn't get enough of him. We got like 15 minutes. They cut all of his footage from the movie damn near. So I felt like he didn't get a fair shake. He didn't get a fair rep. And people were being kind of harsh on Jared Leto for his role in that movie. That whole movie is kind of a mess. While it might be entertaining, storyline, plot-wise, pretty terrible in those sections, right? And so, of course, we learn Batman let Lois Lane die, and that's what led to the current apocalypse that we're in. Now, I thought this world was because of Darkseid. When I was watching the trailers, I thought, oh, Darkseid caused all this. But no, it was Superman. Superman's been going on a tyrant since Lois Lane died. Now, we get to see, Jared Leto's Joker. He looks absolutely nuts with his makeup all spread and his long hair. A nice scene between him and Batman where he's kind of pushing Batman's buttons and trying to tempt him to damn near kill him, but he won't do it. And so he's kind of talking to him about how Robin died and all these other sidekicks and loved ones in his life died. And Batman straight up tells him, straight up savage moment, one of my favorite Batman moments in this film. He tells him, hey, by the end of this, bro, I'm going to be the one to kill you. I'm going to take your life. So you already know how Zack Snyder's Batman gets down. Batman is a straight up savage inside these damn Snyderverse, right? He's kind of like the Punisher in this whole Justice League Snyderverse. That's kind of what the Batman is in this. And then we move on to Superman arriving. He says, oh no, he's found us. Superman arrives, drops. He's in the normal Superman outfit. I feel like they could have still had him in the black suit. Honestly, that would have been even more intimidating. An evil Superman in the black suit. But anyway, he's in his regular Superman outfit. Bruce then wakes up from his nightmare that he's having. He goes outside for a breather, for some fresh air. And we get a nice special treat. I'm very excited and very glad that Zack Snyder was allowed by DC to add this to the film. We got a nice scene of Martian Manhunter. So Martian Manhunter arrives. He appears to Bruce Wayne. He thanks him and lets him know of his importance and everything he's done. He then informs him of a future war that's coming. So like I said, while I view this as an alternate reality, an alternate timeline, it appears that, hey, this can still be the future and this could still happen. So that Flash that came back was from this future timeline, possibly alternate timeline. I think it's a multiverse. I think it's an alternate timeline. And he basically warns him that Darkseid will be back for this anti-life equation that they don't really reveal what that even is, the anti-life equation. They just kind of say it. It's kind of just something Darkseid's after, and it happens to be on Earth, like the equation is on Earth that he needs. So he warns him of a future war coming. He says, hey, we're still going to need the Justice League. We're still going to need you guys. He tells them, hey, I'm Martian Manhunter. I go by many names. They call me Martian Manhunter. And he flies off, an amazing scene. And Bruce says, hey, I'll be seeing you around. We then, at the very end of this film, get a nice little thing. It says, for Autumn. I believe that was Zack Snyder's daughter. So rest in peace, Autumn, if that is the name of his daughter. A nice way to send off this film, kind of say, hey, I did all this for you, right? And of course, we roll the credits, and I finally get to give my rating, my official Demigod rating of this film, my second movie review ever. So I will be rating Zack Snyder's Justice League. I will be giving this a rating of a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. There it is up on the screen there. I appreciate y'all for watching with me. If you don't know what we do here on Demigod ENT, we are a movie channel basically, and we do a lot of trailer reactions. I'm also moving into show reactions coming up very soon. I plan on doing Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You should be seeing that up on the channel very soon, so look out for that. If you watched this far, I appreciate you. I also do unboxings and of course movie reviews on the channel. So subscribe, stay tuned, give this video a thumbs up, man. I appreciate y'all for watching. If you watched this far, you are a very loyal viewer, and let me know in the comments down below if you actually did watch this far. I highly doubt majority of you did, because this was a very long video, very long review, and there are a ton of other reviewers for you to choose from. So I appreciate you from choosing me out of all of them to hear my opinions, hear my thoughts, and yeah, man, hear the Demigod go over this film. So anyway, I'm the Demigod here on Demigod ENT. I am the chosen one. I appreciate y'all for watching with me. I'm gonna edit this video, get it up for y'all. Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming soon. Look out for that. Peace.